An arrest is an indication that probable cause exists to believe the subject was involved in the offense alleged. A person is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. CPSO charges convicted SOX offender with failure to register. In January 2023, Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office SOX Offender Unit detectives began an investigation concerning convicted SOX offender Albert L. Bro, 44, Lake Charles, after he failed to comply with his SOX offender registration requirements. In December 2022, Bro failed to report for his quarterly registration update, making him in violation of his registration requirements. Detectives later learned Bro had absconded from his registered address in Lake Charles and failed to notify law enforcement within 3 days, once again, making him in violation of his registration requirements. On January 26, 2023, detectives issued a warrant for Bro, signed by Judge Tony Fazio. They attempted to locate Bro, but were unsuccessful. On May 8, detectives learned Bro was located in St. Martin Parish, at which time he was arrested and extradited back to Calcasieu Parish. He was booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and charged with 2 counts of failure to register as a SOX offender. His bond is set at $80,000. Bro was convicted of forcible rope in 2000 in Orleans Parish. CPSO detectives Lisa Trahan is the lead investigator on this case. CPSO arrests 2 for second-degree cruelty. On April 10, Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office detectives responded to a local hospital in reference to a 3-month-old child being treated for multiple broken bones and malnourishment as a result of suspected child abuse. During the investigation, detectives learned the child was primarily in the care and custody of Hayden K. Wilson, 19, Westlake, and Isabella L. Fox, 20, Lake Charles. After further investigation on May 3, Wilson and Fox turned themselves in and were arrested and booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and charged with second-degree cruelty to a juvenile. Judge Tony Fazio set their bonds at $100,000. Wilson was released on bond on May 8, and Fox remains incarcerated. The victim was placed in custody of a family member by the Department of Children and Family Services. CPSO Special Victims Unit Detective Kara Adams is the lead investigator on this case. On May 10, Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office SOX Offender Unit detectives arrested convicted SOX offender Carroll W. Smith, 58, Lake Charles, after an investigation revealed he failed to comply with his SOX offender registration requirements. During the investigation it was learned Smith had not paid his annual registration fees for 2021, 2022, and 2023, making him in violation of his SOX offender registration requirements on 3 separate occasions. Smith was located at his registered address and was arrested and booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and charged with 3 counts of failure to register as a SOX offender paying fees. Judge Tony Fazio set his bond at $25,000. Smith was convicted of indecent behavior with a juvenile in Allen Parish in 2009. CPSO Detective John Liptock is the lead investigator on this case. May 30, 2024. CPSO arrests 2 for second-degree cruelty. During the investigation, it was learned on April 26, the child was taken to a local hospital, unconscious and not breathing. Further investigation revealed previously, on April 20, the baby had been released from the hospital after spending the first 7 months of her life there due to medical issues at birth. When she was released to Marcus J. Blue, Sr., 47, and Brittany M. Nero, 26. Both of Lake Charles, they were informed on how to properly feed her, due to her having a breathing and feeding tube. The investigation revealed Blue, against doctor's instructions, fed the baby from a bottle by mouth instead of by the feeding tube. The victim was also observed to appear dehydrated and suffering from a diaper rash that was bleeding from multiple open sores. On May 29, After further investigation, Blue and Nero were arrested and booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and charged with second-degree cruelty to juveniles. Judge Tony Fazio set their bonds at $500,000. Nero has since bonded out. The victim was later transferred to a hospital out of town. He has been placed in state custody by the Department of Children and Family Services. CPSO-SVU Detective Eric Perry is the lead investigator on this case. CPSO arrest 2 for failure to register. On May 10, Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office Sex Offender Unit detectives arrested convicted sex offender Randy J. Spell, Jr., 36, Lake Charles. After an investigation revealed he failed to comply with his sex offender registration requirements. During the investigation, detectives learned Spell was no longer living at his registered address. Detectives made contact with Spell at a residence on Effie Nina Way in Lake Charles, at which time he stated he had not been living at his registered address, and failed to register the new address with law enforcement, making him in violation of his sex offender registration requirements. He was arrested and booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and charged with failure to register as a sex offender second offense. Judge Tony Fazio set his bond at $100,000. He is also being held on a parole violation. Spell was convicted of carnal knowledge of a juvenile in Calcasieu Parish in 2011. He was additionally convicted of indecent behavior with a juvenile in 2016 in Cameron Parish, and failure to register as a sex offender in 2016, 2021, and 2022 in Calcasieu Parish. CPSO Detective Lisa Trahan is the lead investigator on this case. CPSO searching for driver of truck involved in hit and run. The Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office is investigating a hit and run that occurred on Friday, April 26 on Ewin Road near John Bell Road in Lake Charles. During the initial investigation, detectives were advised a truck was traveling east on Ewin Road when it crossed the center line and struck a small SUV that was traveling westbound. The suspect struck, a gray Ford F-150, will have damage to the front driver's side. Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office detectives are asking anyone with information related to this case to contact the lead investigator, Sergeant Casey Steach, at 491-3846 and reference case number 24-41722. Equality before the law, also known as equality under the law. Equality in the eyes of the law, legal equality, or legal egalitarianism, is the principle that all people must be equally protected by the law. The rule of law is a political ideal that all citizens and institutions within a country, state, or community are accountable to the same laws, including lawmakers and leaders. It is sometimes stated simply as no one is above the law.